Hello, very good morning, students. In this video, we are going to discuss the topic communalism, secularism, democracy, how these all three issues played their role in the Indian politics in 90s time period. So, in the topic recent developments in Indian politics, that is chapter number 9, this is the very important topic that communal politics started playing its role in Indian politics in 90s time period, and how two important opportunities which was taken by BJP. So this was the time period of rise of BJP also. So that's what we're going to discuss. So here in this topic, you can see that other long-term development during this time period in 90s was the rise of politics based on regional identity, religious identity, and the religious identity, leading to a debate about secularism and democracy. As you all know that we are a secular country, and being secular, and as a secular country, we all understand that religions don't matter in a secular country. In front of law, everyone is equal. The government must not entertain only a particular religion, because there might be a particular religion is in majority, because everyone is same for the government, everyone is same in front of the law. The rule of law must be there, and it must be equal for all. So this time period in 90s, there was the rise of politics based on religious identity, and this led a debate about secularism and democracy. We noted in the last chapter that the aftermath of emergency के बाद क्या हुआ, भारतीय जनसंघ जो था वो जनता पार्टी में मिला, और फिर उसके बाद में 1980 में भारतीय जनता पार्टी बनी. ठीक है, तो भारतीय जनसंघ मर्ज्ड इनटू जनता पार्टी की गवर्नमेंट बनी थी 1977 में. मोरारजी देसाई बिकेम प्राइम मिनिस्टर. बट जनता पार्टी गवर्नमेंट जब गिरी तो उसके बाद में जो अर्स्टवाइल जनसंघ था, लेटर ऑन from the erstwhile जनसंघ, the BJP was formed, and it was formed in 1980. Initially, BJP जो है भारतीय जनता पार्टी, it adopted a broader political platform than that of the जनसंघ. जनसंघ से अलग हटके एक आइडियोलॉजिकली गांधीयन सोशलिज्म हम जिसको कहते हैं, it embraced गांधीयन सोशलिज्म as its ideology. इसकी आइडियोलॉजी में इसने किस टाइप की आइडियोलॉजी को फॉलो किया? गांधीयन सोशलिज्म आइडियोलॉजी. लेकिन इसको 1980 के इलेक्शन में और उसके बाद के 1984 के इलेक्शन में ज्यादा सक्सेस नहीं मिली बीजेपी पार्टी को. बट आफ्टर 1986 बीजेपी चेंज्ड और मूव्ड फ्रॉम गांधीयन सोशलिज्म टू द हिंदुत्व, द वर्ड हिंदुत्व और द कल्चरल नेशनलिज्म, हिंदुत्व. So the party began to emphasize the Hindu nationalist element in its ideology. The BJP pursued the politics of Hindutva and adopted the strategy of mobilizing the Hindus. So BJP actually in this time period in 1986, they started shifting from their initial ideology from Gandhian socialism towards the cultural nationalism or the Hindutva. And through Hindutva, they tried to mobilize the Hindus, and so that they can get the political power also. Now, what we mean by this word Hindutva? So Hindutva, literally Hindutva का मतलब क्या है? Hindu-ness जिसको हम कहते हैं. And it was defined by its originator V.D. Savarkar, जिनका मानना था कि as the basis of Indian nationhood, कि ये Indian nationhood का basis है, ये Hindu word है. ये एक तरीके से मतलब we are talking about the culture of this nation, and that belongs to that nationalism, cultural nationalism, and that word Hindu just derived from there. So it basically meant that to be members of Indian nationhood, इंडियन नेशन मेंबर होने के लिए इंडियन नेशन के हर किसी को क्या होना चाहिए? एवरीवन मस्ट नॉट ओनली एक्सेप्ट इंडिया एज देयर फादरलैंड, कि हर किसी को इंडिया को एज ए फादरलैंड, पितृभू के रूप में एक्सेप्ट करे, बट एज देयर होली लैंड, पुण्य भू आल्सो. सो जो बिलीवर्स हैं हिंदुत्व के, they argue that a strong nation can be built only on the basis of a strong and united national culture. एक स्ट्रॉन्ग नेशन, एक मजबूत राष्ट्र कब क्रिएट किया जा सकता है? जब हम सब किसी एक ना एक कल्चर से बिलोंग, हम we all share that equal culture, we all belong to that same culture, the national culture. So the national culture must be preserved, and the basis of strong nation must be that united national culture. And that united national culture, उसी का नाम दिया एक तरीके से हिंदुत्व, हिंदू. So they also believe that in the case of India, the Hindu culture alone can provide this space. इस आइडियोलॉजी में, हिंदुत्व आइडियोलॉजी में जो बिलीव करते हैं, उनका मानना है कि ये जो यूनिक, जो आपको ये चीज जो चाहिए, कौन सी चीज, कि जो हिंदुत्व में बिलीव करने वाले जो लोग हैं, अगर स्ट्रॉन्ग नेशन आपको चाहिए तो इसका बेसिस क्या होगा, स्ट्रॉन्ग एंड यूनाइटेड नेशनल कल्चर। और वो आपको कौन सा, लाइक पर्टिकुलर रिलीजन की अगर बात करें, पर्टिकुलर कल्चर की अगर हम बात करें, तो वो हिंदू कल्चर आपको वो चीज दे सकता है। सो दे बिलीव दैट इन केस ऑफ इंडिया द हिंदू कल्चर कैन प्रोवाइड दिस बेस। विच बेस? द बेस विच वी नीड टू क्रिएट अ स्ट्रॉन्ग नेशन। वो बेस जिससे कि हम एक मजबूत राष्ट्र बना सकें। सो दिस इज अ काइंड ऑफ आइडियोलॉजी ऑफ हिंदुत्व, ये एक आइडियोलॉजी है हिंदुत्व की। और यहाँ पे दो इंपॉर्टेंट इवेंट्स, टू डेवलपमेंट्स अराउंड 1986 बिकेम सेंट्रल टू द पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ बीजेपी एज ए हिंदुत्व पार्टी। कि 1986 के ड्यूरेशन में दो इंपॉर्टेंट इवेंट हुए। द फर्स्ट इवेंट वाज द इवेंट ऑफ साहबानो केस एंड द अनदर इवेंट वाज द अयोध्या बाबरी मस्जिद डिस्प्यूट। सो अब हम देखते हैं ये दो इशू क्या थे और इसको कैसे, हाउ बीजेपी, like these two issue played their role in the Indian politics and how BJP mobilized the Hindu community through these two issues. First issue आया था साहबानो का, साहबानो case in 1985 when Rajiv Gandhi government was there. Rajiv Gandhi was our prime minister. इस केस में हुआ कुछ ऐसा था कि 62-year-old एक डिवोर्स्ड मुस्लिम वुमन थी, उन्होंने केस फाइल किया था मेंटेनेंस के लिए अपने हस्बैंड से आफ्टर डिवोर्स। And Supreme Court ruled in her favor, but the Orthodox Muslims, they saw the Supreme Court judgment as the interference in their personal affair, in the interference in the Muslim personal law. तो उन्होंने क्या किया, उन्होंने डिमांड करना स्टार्ट किया देन गवर्नमेंट, राजीव गांधी गवर्नमेंट से, दैट a law must be passed or an act must be passed so that the Supreme Court order can be nullified, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑर्डर को नलिफाई किया जा सके। और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ऑर्डर क्या दिया था, उन्होंने ऑर्डर दिया था साहबानों के केस के, साहबानों के फेवर में, कि एक तो जो तलाक है, जैसे अभी कुछ टाइम पहले कोई इशू हुआ था ट्रिपल तलाक का इशू, तो एक तो तलाक जो है इस तरीके से नहीं दिया जा सकता और दूसरा मेंटेनेंस जो है वो देनी होगी। तो जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट गेव जजमेंट इन द फेवर ऑफ साहबानो, but ultimately what happened, the Muslim Orthodox pressurized the government and government brought a law, government एक law लेके आई, government passed the Muslim Women Act 1986, Protection of Rights and Divorce Act, and this act nullified the Supreme Court judgment. और इस एक्ट से हुआ क्या, एक्चुअली सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो जजमेंट था जिसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कुछ रिफॉर्म्स की बात की मुस्लिम पर्सनल लॉ में, तो वो एक तरीके से नलिफाई हो गया। तो इस एक्शन से, दिस एक्शन वाज अपोज्ड बाय मैनी पार्टीज, मैनी वुमेन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, मैनी मुस्लिम ग्रुप्स हु वर लिबरल्स, मैनी इंटेलेक्चुअल्स, and BJP also criticized this action of Congress government as an unnecessary concession and appeasement of the minority community. कि Congress party is actually trying to, and it is appeasing a particular community. So through this, BJP projected Congress party as an appeaser of the Muslim community or minority community, and through that they gain that momentum and mobilizing the other community, like Hindu community specifically. दूसरी कम्युनिटी को उन्होंने मोबिलाइज करना, और उनको एक और इशू मिला इन दिस टाइम पीरियड आफ्टर सम टाइम इन 90s, द अयोध्या इशू, बाबरी मस्जिद इशू। पहला इशू क्या था, साहबानों का इशू, सेकंड बाबरी मस्जिद इशू। अब ये क्या था, अयोध्या डिस्प्यूट। व्हाट वाज द अयोध्या डिस्प्यूट? दिस डिस्प्यूट वाज देयर, सबसे पहले आपको जानना होगा कि अयोध्या जो है फैजाबाद के अंदर, यूपी उत्तर प्रदेश में, इन अयोध्या इट इज कंसिडर्ड दैट अयोध्या इज द बर्थ प्लेस ऑफ श्री राम। देयर वाज अ टेंपल ऑफ श्री राम देयर, बट मीर बाकी जो था, एक मुगल एम्पायर बाबर जो थे, उनका जनरल था, मिनिस्टर था, उन्होंने अयोध्या के अंदर से राम जो टेम्पल था उसको डेमोलिश करके वहां पे एक मस्जिद बनाई थी, जिसको पॉपुलरली बाद में बाबरी मस्जिद के नाम से जाना गया। 16th सेंचुरी में ये मॉस्क जो है इट वाज बिल्ट, बट many Hindus believe that it was built obviously after demolishing temple that was there of Lord Rama, and it is believed to be the birthplace of Lord Rama. So this dispute, after even independence, this was there for decades, it was there in the court. In late 1940s tensions होती थी communities के बीच में, तो मॉस्क को क्या कर दिया गया एक तरीके से, it was locked up as the matter was in the court. But what happened in 1986, February 1986 में क्या हुआ, the court ordered that Babri Masjid premises be unlocked so that Hindus could offer prayer at the site which they considered as a temple. फैजाबाद कोर्ट ने, डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट ने ये अपना जजमेंट दिया कि जो बाबरी मस्जिद के प्रेमाइसेस है उसको एक तरीके से टेम्पररी ओपन करा जाए एक बार, ताकि वहां पे एक जो स्पेसिफिक प्लेस है वहां पे हिंदूज दे कैन आल्सो ऑफर प्रेयर. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ जजमेंट वाज गिवन बाय द फैजाबाद डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट. एज सून एज, अब जैसे ही जो ये जजमेंट आया तो उसके बाद में द लॉक्स ऑफ द बाबरी मस्जिद वर ओपन. Mobilization began on both sides, from the Hindu communities and from the Muslim communities. Muslims obviously they were opposing, and the Hindu communities there was a consolidation. और इसी इशू को ध्यान में रखते हुए there is a proper like a रथ यात्रा. एक रथ यात्रा was organized by BJP under the leadership of लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी. लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी की लीडरशिप में एक रथ यात्रा ऑर्गेनाइज की गई from Somnath, that is in Gujarat, to Ayodhya, that is in UP, Faizabad, or under the leadership of Lal Krishna Advani. And through this Rath Yatra also, BJP tried to mobilize the Hindu community and tried to project itself as the party which is raising the issue related to the nationalist or Hindu culture. So, इस ड्यूरेशन में क्या हुआ, बहुत सारे हिंदूज और मुस्लिम ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ने दे ट्राई टू मोबिलाइज, अपनी कम्युनिटीज को उन्होंने मोबिलाइज करने स्टार्ट किया. ये जो लोकल डिस्प्यूट था, इट बिकेम ए मेजर नेशनल क्वेश्चन, लेड टू कम्युनल टेंशंस. एंड बीजेपी ने इस इशू को क्या किया, इट्स मेजर इलेक्टोरल पॉलिटिकल प्लान. एंड along with many other organizations such as RSS and Vishwa Hindu Parishad, it convened a series of symbolic and mobilizational programs, and ultimately Rath Yatra was organized from Somnath, Gujarat to Ayodhya. Why? अब आपको क्वेश्चन होगा सर, why the Rath Yatra was organized? To mobilize or have a consolidation in the Hindu community so that they can get the political power also, and try to like make their stance clear that there is a Ram temple, there was Ram temple, and there must be Ram temple in place of Babri Mosque. Babri Mosque की जगह वहां पे एक राम टेम्पल होना चाहिए. और इसी पूरी एक एंथुजियाज्म में, इस पूरे सिनेरियो में demolition of Babri Masjid. Here you can see the cuttings, few cuttings of newspapers, the Hindustan Times, Nai Dunya, and there are some other cuttings here. You can see the demolition, no cause for remorse, said by Advani. These were the like global newspapers which also published the news of demolition of Babri Masjid. Now, what happened? In 1992, December 1992, organizations supporting the construction of the temple, they organized कार सेवा. यहाँ पे एक word use किया हुआ है, कार सेवा. What do you mean by this कार सेवा word? It simply means the voluntarily service by the devotees going there in the site of this Ram temple and offering the prayer, and practicing some rituals. So this voluntary service is popularly known as कार सेवा. So for building the Ram temple. Now the situation had become very tense all over the country, especially at Ayodhya. Supreme Court clearly ordered the state government to take care that the disputed site should be protected. There must not be any kind of danger. It must not be endangered. However, what happened? As we discussed, that Rath Yatra was organized, Rath Yatra under the leadership of Lal Krishna Advani. So a lot of mobilization of the community happened. So thousands of people gathered there in Ayodhya and for कार सेवा on 6th of December 1992. बहुत बड़ी संख्या में लोग यहाँ पे इकट्ठा हुए. And what happened in this series of events? The demolition of the mosque happened. Here you can see the cutting. Babri Masjid demolished. Center 6 Kalyan government. Kalyan Singh was the chief minister. BJP government was there in Uttar Pradesh at that time. Kalyan Singh was the chief minister. After this incident, the central government, which what it did, it just saved the Kalyan Singh government. Now, this news led to clashes in the society throughout the country, between Hindus and Muslims throughout the many part of the country. The violence in Mumbai, it erupted in January 1993 and continued for 2 weeks. So clashes happened, riots happened throughout the country. Now, the events at Ayodhya led to a series of other developments. And what were those? The state governments where the BJP was the ruling party, it was dismissed by the center. State government was dismissed by the center because, as we discussed, Kalyan Singh was the chief minister in Uttar Pradesh. It was the BJP ruling party. It was dismissed by the center. However, along with that, other states where the BJP was there, they were also like sacked. President rule was imposed there also. So a case was registered against Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. It was registered in the Supreme Court for contempt of court, since Kalyan Singh had given an undertaking that the disputed site or disputed structure will be protected, but that did not happen. So therefore, a contempt of court case was also filed against Kalyan Singh. However, BJP officially expressed regret over the happenings at Ayodhya. Central government appointed many like a commission to investigate into the circumstances, what led to the demolition of the mosque. So investigate this matter. Most political parties, they also condemned demolition and declared that this was against the principles of secularism and the principles of that not having the communal politics in the democracy. It is against the principle of secularism. Many parties criticized this. Now, this led to a series of debate over secularism and posed the kind of questions our country faced immediately after partition. Now, this incident actually posed a threat to Indian democracy also, that was India going to be a country where the majority religious community dominated over the minorities? Or would India continue to offer equal protection of law and a secularistic kind of approach to all the people irrespective of their religion? So during this time, there has also been a debate about using religious sentiments for electoral politics. Can we use the religious sentiments in electoral politics? India is a democratic India's democratic politics is based on the premise that all religious communities enjoy their freedom, that they may join any party and that there will not be community-based political parties. So therefore, we should adopt that kind of secularistic approach. But this particular issue after partition, this posed a threat in Indian politics that where we are leading actually. Now, this democratic atmosphere of communal amity has faced many challenges since 1984, because as we discussed in the previous chapters also, that after 1984, when Indira Gandhi was assassinated, anti-Sikh riot happened. So that was also incident against a particular community. The incident happened. So kind of communalistic thing was there in that incident also. So since 1984, the democratic atmosphere of our communal amity, communal that friendliness, that friendship, that faced many challenges since 1984. The 84 anti-Sikh riots, then this incident of Ayodhya dispute, Babri Masjid demolition, and afterwards in February, March 2002, Gujarat riots happened that broke out against the Muslims in Gujarat. So such violence against the minority community and violence between two communities is a threat to democracy. So therefore, what we have discussed in the topic, how this communal politics, how the communalism, it played its role in Indian politics. So that is why the topic is communalism, secularism, and democracy. So in 90s time period, the issue of Sahabanu, whether the issue of Ayodhya, Babri Masjid, how they played their role in Indian politics. And this was also time period of the rise of the BJP. How BJP, through these issues, it consolidated its power, it consolidated its position in Indian politics. In the next video, we will discuss the next topic, and that is about the Gujarat riots. That is another incident happened, and this incident is also related to communal politics. Thank you very much, everyone.